As you guys know, the Texans have been back at practice. They started practicing last Thursday, and they pretty much already wrapped up like their first week of practice because this Tuesday, July 30th, is their day off. So they're done with the first part of training camp, I guess. They've already put on the pads since Saturday, so you know how I've been saying all off season. You know, all that stuff that they do on shorts and shirts, that don't count. Wait until the pads come on, and the pads are finally on, and they're finally actually practicing, and now you can kind of actually get a feel for what these players could possibly be this season. And this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, some players that are, making a name for themselves in camp, and some returning stars that are still playing at a high level, as well as some concerning stuff. Now, let's start off with Deshaun. From what I've heard, and everyone has pretty much been saying this, Deshaun looks way better. Apparently, he's more accurate, and he has complete control of the offense, and his chemistry with his receivers is also better than it's been. And I've been saying this all off season. Like a lot of people, a lot of Texans fans have been predicting that the Texans are going to do bad this season. And to me, that's laughable, because if Deshaun was able to do what he did last year, and in my opinion, Deshaun had an above average year. Deshaun didn't have a good year by Deshaun Watson standards. Keep in mind, I'm basing this off of Deshaun Watson standards. Deshaun Watson can be so much better than what he did last year. And from the sounds of it, he is so much better right now than he was at the end of last year. So, all these 4-12 predictions, I don't get them. I mean, people are saying, oh my god, the Texans don't have a GM. They're going to go 2-14. I mean, last time I checked, a GM doesn't suit up on game day. So, yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. Deshaun is going to carry this team. This team goes as far as Deshaun carries them. Of course, you got the O-line, the secondary, but we had a terrible O-line and a terrible secondary last year. And we did just fine, 11-5, but of course crumbled in the playoffs. And that's what we're trying to avoid, crumbling in the playoffs. Hopefully Deshaun takes a step, and hopefully the other parts of the team take a step forward, and then we won't be embarrassed in the playoffs. But this team, as long as Deshaun's under center, they can do whatever they want. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, Matt Kalil. You guys know how I feel about Matt Kalil. Not a fan of him. I think he is terrible. I think he's injury prone. I think we're wasting our time with him. But Matt Kalil has been taking first team reps at left tackle. Yeah. Don't like that. Let's move on. Tytus Howard has been taking reps at left guard with the ones. And, okay, look. Let's talk about this. Max Sharping and Tytus Howard are both playing guard. Sharping's the right guard. Tytus Howard's the left guard. The plan is to eventually move Tytus Howard to left tackle and Max Sharping to right tackle. That's the plan. And, up to there, it's fine. Teams do that all the time. They let the offensive lineman develop at guard, and then they move him to tackle. Why? It's simple. Because putting a young offensive lineman on an island, one-on-one against guys like Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa's, that's concerning, That's concerning. You don't want to do that, so you want to put them in a situation where they get used to the game first, and then you move them outside once they're used to the NFL level of competition. See, that's fine. I get what they're doing there. And that's a great plan for any other NFL team, but it's not a good plan for the Houston Texans. Why? Let me tell you why. And I put out a poll on this on Twitter, and it was kind of 50-50. 50% of people thought it was a good plan, the other 50 thought it wasn't a good plan. And I am leaning towards it's not a good plan for the Texans. I think the idea itself, it makes sense. A lot of teams do it. But for the Texans, I don't think it makes sense. Why? Well, this move would make sense if the Texans had some stability at the offensive tackle position. But they don't. The Texans have Matt Kalil and Seantrel Henderson as their offensive tackles. Like, both of these guys, especially Matt Kalil, like, we already know Matt Kalil isn't a good football player. Not only that, he's injury prone. Seantrel Henderson, he's just so injury prone that we really don't know how good he is. So the Texans right now, in my opinion, are setting themselves up for a situation where, you know, Matt Kalil goes down, Seantrel Henderson goes down. You know, I hate to be that guy, you know, that talks about injuries, but in my opinion, that's inevitable. It's not a if Kalil gets hurt, if Henderson gets hurt. It's a when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The time will come when they will get hurt, whether it's week 2, week 3, week 4, week, I don't know, 10. They're going to get hurt. And with Tytus Howard and Max Scharping getting reps at guard, I don't think that's good for them. I don't, because they're going to be focusing on guard throughout the season. Because obviously, throughout the season, when they're practicing to, you know, prepare for the games, they're most likely not going to give Tytus Howard extra reps at left tackle. He's probably just going to take his reps at left guard, you know, as a starter. Because as of right now, it is sounding like Tytus Howard is the starting left guard and Max Scharping is the backup right guard to Zach Fulton. That's what it's sounding like right now. And I think that's a waste, especially for Tytus Howard. I think for Scharping, it's fine because he's not expected to be a starter day one. But as of right now, where Tytus Howard is practicing at left guard with the first team, I think that's concerning, because when the time comes when Matt Kalil either gets benched for sucking so bad or he gets hurt, Tytus Howard is obviously going to be the guy that's going to slide out to left tackle. Most of his reps in practice are going to be coming at the left guard position. He's not going to be fully prepared to transition to that left tackle spot because there's no stability there. Like, it's going to happen. Tytus Howard this season at some point will be playing left tackle. And honestly, I don't think he's going to be ready for it. I don't think he's going to be ready. He's going to be like a deer in the headlights. Similar to how Davenport was. We just threw him out there. Martinez Rankin, we just threw him out there. In my opinion, it's better for Tytus Howard to get one-on-one reps against Mercilus and J.J. Watt right now instead of having to throw him out there against, I don't know, Joey Bosa in week 3, against Yannick Ngakoue in week 7, I believe, when we play the Jaguars. You know, he's not going to be ready for it because he's not going to have much practice time one-on-one. Because when you're playing on the inside of the offensive line, you got help on your left and your right. As a tackle, you got no help. You're on an island unless, you know, they use a tight end to help you out. And I don't think we should be wasting the talent of Kahale Waring and Jordan Thomas to help our offensive lineman block. So I think, personally, that they should just kind of get Tytus Howard ready right now. Let him go one-on-one against JJ. Let him go one-on-one against Mercilus, you know? Like, I've heard he's been doing good, don't get me wrong. I've actually heard he's been doing really good. His first day in pads, he did struggle, I heard, but after that, he's done really good. He's been able to stop players like DJ Reader. He's been doing good against Mercilus. But can he do it one-on-one? I think that's what really matters, because you're grooming this guy to eventually be your starting left tackle. And Matt Kalil, he's going to go down, he's going to scrub it up, he's going to get benched, whatever. If we had Dwayne Brown at left tackle, you know, it'd make perfect sense, you know, because Dwayne Brown, you know he'd play there all 16 games or majority of the games. But we got Matt Kalil at left tackle, so eventually, unfortunately, I see Tytus Howard being thrown into the fire. And I think the results are going to be the same as they were with Julian Davenport and Martinez Rankin. Now, I'm not saying, oh, he's going to be a bust. No, I'm saying this season, for this season only, if Tytus Howard goes out there at left tackle at some point, I think it's going to look ugly. And I think they're doing him no help by playing him at left guard. Now, from what I've heard about Max Scharping, he's struggled, man. Hasn't looked as good as Tytus Howard, like nowhere near as good as Tytus Howard, but I have heard he looks quicker than he did in college, so there's that. But, he's still struggled. Hopefully he's able to turn that around soon, because I think at some point Max Scharping is also going to see the field, because I don't see Seantrel Henderson holding down that right tackle spot. Now, from what I can gather right now, this looks like your week 1 starting offensive line. Left tackle, Matt Kalil. Left guard, Tytus Howard. Center, Nick Martin. Right guard, Zach Fulton. Right tackle, Seantrel Henderson. I think that's what they're going with. They're starting O-line from week 1. But I think by the end of the season, it's going to look like this. Left tackle, Tytus Howard. Left guard, Martinez Rankin. Center, Nick Martin. Right guard, Zach Fulton. Right tackle, Max Scharping. Now, you guys know I'm high on Martinez Rankin. I think Martinez Rankin can possibly be our best offensive lineman next year. But you know how the Texans are over there preaching competition at the O-line? They just threw Tytus Howard as a starting left guard, man. I think that's kind of messed up. So there was no competition for the left guard spot. They just gave it to Tytus Howard. What about Martinez Rankin? You're giving up on him? A 3rd round pick with Pro Bowl potential? Come on, dude. That's not a good look for me. I don't like that one bit. Now, what I've heard, Nick Martin hasn't been practicing, and Greg Max has been taking the starting snaps at center. And from what I've been hearing, he's been completely struggling, especially with snapping the ball. Apparently his snaps are too low. And yeah, so for everyone that's saying start Greg Max, that's going to be a big no. I mean, you'd create another problem on the O-line, because Nick Martin, he does a good job in pass pro. It's the run game where he struggles, and right now, although I'd like to get some offensive linemen that can push the line of scrimmage, right now my number 1 priority is protecting Deshaun Watson, and Nick Martin does that. I mean, the guy allowed 4 sacks last year, and that's standard for a good pass blocking offensive lineman. And if you're wondering, Zach Fulton allowed 2 sacks last year, so Zach Fulton and Nick Martin are fine right now where they're at. It's left tackle, left guard, and right tackle, the areas of concern. Now, the next guy, Jordan Thomas. Apparently, the dude has been looking straight up dominant. He looks quicker. He's a better route runner. Run game, they haven't really gotten a look at him there, because, he has been out a bit, getting some rest, nursing small injury. And then Jordan Akins actually has also been looking nice, apparently. And you guys know Jordan Akins, my thoughts on him. I always make fun of him for being old, but apparently Akins has been looking nice. And if you guys are wondering about Kahale Waring is nursing an injury right now, so he's on the PUP list, the PUP active list, so they can activate him whenever he's ready to go. He's not going to miss any extended period of time. He's just going to miss a little bit of practice time. And then Darren Fells, apparently he's been struggling in the pass game, but he's doing a good job at blocking. Then you got Cullen Gillespie. Apparently he's doing a really good job at blocking, especially in pass pro. And, when we had Jay Prosh was just an okay blocking fullback. Well, apparently Cullen Gillespie, they're planning on using him more as a versatile weapon. So not only is he going to go out there and block for Lamar Miller and Foreman, he's going to go out there and catch passes as well. So think of, one of those fullbacks, a fullback that can actually catch the ball and make plays. And then, you got Will Fuller. Will Fuller was back out there practicing. Will Fuller, there were some people that were concerned with him possibly losing a step because of the torn ACL, and that does not seem to be the case. Will Fuller is fine. He looks as fast as ever. There was this one clip where Will Fuller completely just burnt Jonathan Joseph, and not just like by 1 or 2 steps. Oh, this was like 4 or 5 yards. Like, he got him good. And then there's Kiki. Kiki's also been doing a really good job. And apparently him and Aaron Colvin have been really battling it out. Like, Kiki is not just completely dominating Colvin, and Colvin is also not just completely dominating Kiki. And I think that's what you need. You need players like that compete against each other to make themselves better. And I think Colvin's really going to have a bounce back year this year. And then you got another receiver, Tyron Johnson. Rookie, undrafted wide receiver from Oklahoma State. And apparently he's really made a name for himself. He's been making plays like every day in camp. And he's kind of pushing Vincent Smith for that 5th wide receiver spot. Personally, I thought Vincent Smith was going to take that 5th wide receiver spot. But I haven't heard Vincent Smith's name like all of camp. But Tyron Johnson, like, everybody's talking about him. So yeah, maybe Tyron Johnson takes over that 5th wide receiver spot, and he is a deep threat, so that's kind of what we need. We need that Fuller insurance, and maybe Tyron Johnson can be that guy with coaching from Andre Johnson and DeAndre and Will Fuller, and maybe even Kiki, because Tyron does need some help on his route running, so maybe he takes over that spot. Now let's move on to the secondary, starting with Bradley Roby. You guys know how I've been feeling about Bradley Roby, all off season since we signed him. I don't like the guy, but apparently Bradley Roby has been doing really, really good. Like, he's out there making plays, getting picks, getting, passes defended. Like, he's actually been doing good. And Aaron Colvin also, like I said earlier when I was talking about Kiki, he's also been doing very, very good. So that's a good sign. If Bradley Roby and Aaron Colvin can come in here and perform well, then our secondary might be in good shape, because we already got Justin Reed. The guy's going to be a star safety in this league for years to come. We got Tashawn Gibson, who's a complete upgrade over Tyrann Mathieu from last year. And then we got Lonnie Johnson. Apparently Lonnie Johnson's been doing okay. You guys know, like, Lonnie Johnson, I don't feel too comfortable about him. I think he needs some time to grow, but apparently, he's alright. I'm not going to say he's been dominating, but I'm also not going to say he's been sucking, because Lonnie Johnson, he's been getting a lot of practice time. He's been practicing against guys like D-Hop, but he's also been practicing against, scrub wide receivers. And it's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to Lonnie Johnson. He'd have a good play against D-Hop, then he'd have a bad play against a scrub receiver, and that's how he is right now. A little bit inconsistent, needs to clean up some things, but, it's interesting, to say the least. It's interesting. I don't know where Lonnie Johnson's going to go from here. He is dealing with a little injury right now, so he has been held out of practice. I think it was today, Monday, and he left early on Sunday, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. And then you got AJ Moore. You guys know AJ Moore, a safety who was primarily used as a special teamer last year. Apparently he's also doing really good in coverage. He's been getting more reps this training camp due to Justin Reed being on the PUP list due to the car accident he got in about a week and a half ago. But Justin Reed came back today on Monday, but AJ Moore has definitely been taking advantage of some of those snaps, and so has Jalil Addae, who has also been looking very good, especially in run fits, in the run game, stopping the run, because that's what Jalil Addae is. He is the box safety responsible of, stopping the run. You're not going to see the guy in deep coverage, because if you see Jalil Addae in deep coverage, we're in trouble. But that's actually all I've heard so far of, the first week of training camp. I'll probably end up dropping another training camp video probably next Monday as well, once we get next week out of the way, and then we're finally going to be talking about some actual football, preseason football. I know it's preseason, but that's fine. We finally got some actual football on the way here pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.